Hi, David from Synergy Products. I just want to run through some of the Groundsman tine options and explain a few things about what people should measure if they're asking us for tines and they're not sure of their actual description. We go from the largest tines, solid tines, which are 5/8 and have no shoulder, so they have a straight edge. They will fit into a holder, which again has a 5/8 or 16mm type socket. So when measuring the tines, always go by the shoulder. That's the piece which will fit into the socket of whichever holder you're asking about. So in the series of tines, we can go from a sort of 16mm, the most common, right down to 6mm, which are the needle tines that people would be using in the summer for aeration. We then have specialist tines like chisel tines. The chisel to be mounted in the line of travel, so not sideways like that, but in that line, so that you're leaving nice little stitch marks going up the green. These tines are particularly useful before feeding the greens, so autumn through part of the winter and in spring. Again, offered in two lengths. The longest of the Groundsman tines are 140mm. This gives fantastic depth into all fine turf playing areas. On the hollow tines, this is a common 1/2-inch side discharge, so the soil will scallop out through this part, and it's a very strong tine, much more expensive than the thin walled tubular tine, but will last about 4 times the length. The tubulars, very common, however the fault is that they often will block very quickly, hence very frustrating to use if they block after only a couple of meters. Going down to the finer tines, again side scallop, giving a good clean core. These are particularly useful for dethatching type work. So 2 types of holders you'll have. For the more simpler MD machines, you use a draw bolt, and for the MHD machines, you'll use a spigot mount. The spigot mount we've covered in other videos. So when you're actually loading a tine into it, you have to make sure that the tine fits right into the back of the head. So you push it right up in and it goes into the very top shoulder, always putting the tine in from the bottom end. And when you load side discharge, they should always be facing rearwards, so the opening is always rear. One of the other wearing parts on the Groundsman machine on the MD type are the implement head joints. These should be checked frequently, every 2 to 3 years, to make certain they're not worn, causing the heads to possibly clash. We then come to the more specialist tines, where we have clusters. This is one of the more common clusters. It's an 8S14. That means there's 8 and they are 1/4 inch. So this type of one is particularly useful for sorrel rolling and for overseeding. So by setting the tine holder extremely shallow into the ground, you can use that for overseeding, and when it comes to sorrel work, you can go down depths of 25 to 30. Exceptionally good tine. There are other variations of the cluster which can offer this type of side discharge mounted in there. Again, useful for taking thatch out of the green and for overseeding as well. So that's covered a lot of them. Thank you for listening. Talk to you again soon.